Hello guys, good to see you back. Once again I am back with a new tutorial related JavaScript, and in this tutorial we are going to learn about two new property, pageX and pageY. So as you can see in this example, we open a browser window, and in this browser we have lot of text. And also you can notice there is a scroll bar at the right side. It means there is lot of text in this browser. Assume that we have this amount of text in this browser. Also, I show you the overflow data using gray color background. And after scroll this page little bit, I put my mouse at that place. And I want to extract x-axis position of this mouse, also y-axis position of this mouse. To extract the value, JavaScript provide total two property, pageX and pageY. In our previous tutorial, we already learned about client-X and client-Y property. It was pretty similar with pageX and pageY. But there is a difference between client-X and client-Y and pageX and pageY. It is only work inside the viewport area. But in pageX and pageY property, if I scroll the vertical scroll bar, otherwise horizontal scroll bar, it's going to change the cursor point. And as I told you, these properties are work with only mouse event. So we need to use mouse event to use these properties. So these are all mouse event. On click, on double click, on context menu, on mouse move, on mouse hover, etc. So let's start the practical and see how we can use it. So as you can see, side by side I open my Visual Studio Code editor and my browser using Lifesaver extension, and I already created an HTML document named index.html. For now, our body tag is empty. So inside this body tag, first I'm going to use script tag. And inside this script tag, I want to extract my cursor point. When I hover my cursor in my browser area, I want to extract the cursor location, x-axis and y-axis. For that, we need to use document method. Document, and we need to use an event. And to use the event, I'm going to type add event listener. Inside the round braces, inside the double quotes, otherwise single quotes, here I'm going to pass the event name, which is mouse moved. As you can see, we need to close the quotation. We need to move it inside the single quotes, otherwise double quotes. Then we need to call a function, an anonymous function. So I'm going to type function inside the curly braces. It is an anonymous function. Then inside the function, we need to take a variable as an event. So for event, I'm going to pass p. That's it. And here we need to take total two variables to store these two values, where our first variable name is x. X equal to e dot pageX. Then I duplicate this line, and this time I'm going to type our another variable, pageY. pageY equal to e dot pageY. And now I'm going to print these two values in my console area. So I'm going to type console dot log inside the round braces, inside the double quotes. First I'm going to type pageX value, pageX value, semicolon. Then I'm going to use concatenation sign and our variable name, x, semicolon, to end this line. Then I duplicate this line and I'm going to replace pageX with pageY. Also, we need to replace the variable name, y. And before I save this file, here we need to type console.clear method. Console.clear. This method going to clear the unnecessary values, which is print in our console. Then before I set this file, I'm going to turn on the console, inspect console. And now I'm going to set this file. After set this file, if I hover my cursor in this window, here you can see the value. You can see pageX value is 254 and pageY value is 357. This is pretty similar with our previous tutorials. We already familiar with that. You might think it is pretty similar with client-X and client-Y. but there is a different. So I'm going to create to another variable. So I'm going to duplicate this section, and this time I'm going to type, first I'm going to change the variable name A, and I'm going to type e dot client text. Then I'm going to change y with B, and this time I'm going to type client y. And also I'm going to print client text and client y value in my console. So I'm going to duplicate these two lines, and I'm going to replace page with client text value, also client y value. And now I'm going to duplicate this whole section, and I'm going to replace pageX with client text. Client text value is, also we need to replace the variable name A, and client y value is, and we need to replace y with B. After save this file, if I hover my cursor on this window, you can see the result. You can see client text value and pageX value is still same. Also page y value and client y value still same. But what if I add some paragraph? So inside the body tag, I'm going to use p tag paragraph, and then I'm going to type lorem, and I'm going to add 1000 word, and I'm going to save this file. After save this file, as you can see in my document, there is a scroll bar at the right side. After save this file, if I hover my cursor any point, suppose this point, you can see page y value is 275 and client y value is 275. But what if I scroll down my page? Then what? So I want to scroll down my page. After scroll down this page, as you can see, now page y value become 1016, but the client y value still remains same, 275. That's the difference between these two property, client y and client x. Client y property, otherwise client x property, work on window area, but page y property, otherwise page x property, work on document area. That's the basic difference between these two properties. Basically, it returns the cursor height according to content size, but it returns the cursor height according to browser window size. It's going to measure the distance from the window top, but it's going to measure the distance from the content top position. That's the main difference. And at the same way, it's going to work on horizontal position. So if I add a div element, so I'm going to type div, and I'm going to assign an ID equal to box. And if I style this div element, so let's back to the style section. After title, I'm going to type style. And inside the style tag, first I'm going to target this box using its ID name, hashtag box. Then inside the curly braces, at first I'm going to assign width 900 pixel, height 100 pixel, and also I'm going to set a background color, background red. If I save this file, here you can see now it provides a horizontal scroll bar, and if I hover my cursor at that position, you can see now our x value is 86. Also our client x value is 86. But what if I scroll my browser at horizontal direction and then hover my cursor at that position? Now you can see the basic difference. Now page x value is 273 and client x value is 97. Because as I told you, client x property measured the distance from the browser border, but page x property measured the distance from the content starting position. That's why it's print different value. I hope now this concept is clear for you. So thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for our next tutorial.